morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today, I am back with more good news about quite how well the Pokemon trading card game is doing over in Japan. You see, eBay over in Japan has gone and issued a press release of sorts. They have given us a bunch of information about sales and trends and things of that nature, and the lovely Primal Lugia has gone and brought this to my attention, essentially going, hey, well, see, you might think this is pretty gosh darn interesting, and actually, yeah, I really do think this is pretty gosh darn interesting. And judging by the reaction to a bunch of my videos lately, I think a bunch of you will find it pretty gosh darn interesting as well. So, what have we got? Well, I think the most striking thing straight off the bat is eBay went and revealed their list of top 10 categories. Now, this is looking at value rather than specifically sales, so that means that the more expensive the products are, the higher it's going to be. It's not the most number of items sold, it is the total value of all items sold. And you will notice that right there at number 2 is toys and collectible card games. But of course, if you look at number 3, it says collectibles, animation, arts and characters. So we really are looking at TCGs here. We're not looking at toys and plushies and things of that nature. They go down into number 3. What we've got there, well, is just collectible card games. And that is pretty gosh darn interesting indeed. It has become the second most valuable category on eBay Japan. Although I must point out that actually Yahoo Auctions is a lot of the time preferred in Japan. Yahoo Auctions, for those of you that don't remember who are a fair bit younger than me, actually did used to be a thing in the US, Europe, etc. But it pretty much entirely went away years ago now. And it pretty much only is big in Japan, at least as far as I'm aware. If you know any other countries where Yahoo Auctions is big, do of course let me know. So in at number 2, we got collectible card games. Number 1 is women's clothing and accessories. Make of that what you will. But it seems like it has risen up from 4th place. It has essentially jumped over jewelries, gems and watches, which used to be 3rd. Collectibles, animation, arts and characters, which used to be 2nd, and jumped right up into 4th. You can see the previous placings there. And essentially, collectible card games has jumped over jewelry and collectibles right up into 2nd place. And that just goes to show what a lot of us have known for a little while here, and that is that actually TCGs are growing. They're not just big. They're not just being good. They are actually on the rise. They are increasing in popularity as time goes by, and I don't see any real reason why this is going to slow down in the near future. Now, for anyone that's wondering, the card they have actually used there is the Illustrator Charizard. There was an illustration competition in Japan. It was won by this particular Art of Charizard, and this was released as a promo in Pokemon centers that you got for buying various products, etc. Obviously has been heavily bought over on eBay, so it seems like the kind of thing that should be used as a bit of a promo image. And if we look at what is actually growing year on year, that's what YOY generally tends to mean here. We are working off of a Japanese press release, but I think we're doing pretty well. And like I've said on a number of occasions, I used to teach business, so I should be able to read this kind of stuff. Obviously, correct me in the comment section if I'm being a bit silly. But if we look at the growth there, we can see that toys grew quite a lot, 173%. Jewelry and watches grew by 122%, but far and away the biggest growth there was trading cards, which actually grew by 833%, which is absolutely over the top ridiculous. 833% growth in a year is just absolutely over the top ridiculous. Again, as someone who's been teaching business for a long time, this is a number that absolutely jumps off the page to me. And if you haven't looked at many businesses for comparison, this might look pretty good. But if you've studied many businesses and looked at the kind of growth that businesses see, 833% growth is it is an absolutely ridiculous number. To put it into context, 173% growth is absolutely ridiculously over the top huge, and 833% is like 5 times as much as over the top ridiculously huge. Now, this is trading card games generally. It's not just Pokemon. It includes Yu-Gi-Oh! Might even include the Digimon trading card game, which I cover on my other channel, Wassy Plays, which I think, if you've looked at that channel even a little bit, you'll notice I'm quite a fan of that game. It is a very good game. It ain't no Pokemon, don't get me wrong, but if you ask me what my second favourite game is right now, it's probably going to be that. And by probably, I mean definitely. So we've got it jumping up into second place. And honestly, right, if the only thing beating it is women's clothing and accessories, that seems pretty gosh darned impressive. We've seen growth of 833%, which again, it's really hard to overstate quite how impressive that is. Also worth pointing out that the growth in anime character goods will obviously include Pokemon plushes and such as well. And then we've actually got a list of the top 5 selling in terms of sales volume products in the first quarter of 2021. Now again, we're talking about value here, not necessarily just the amount of products which are sold. So obviously if they sell for more money, that is going to impact their position on the ranking. And wouldn't you believe it, up at number 1, we've got Shiny Star V. And that shouldn't really surprise anyone. Shiny Star V, I referred to it over and over again as the most hyped set. And it really is. Shiny Star V was a fantastically hyped set, which essentially everybody wanted a part of. I did a midnight opening in Japan, shout out to the lovely Antoine Boulet for making that happen, and then bought another box. And I don't import that many Japanese products, not as many as I would like to anyway. And I know an awful lot of other people did. It was something that sold out fairly quickly initially, and it came back into stock over time. But at least when you had the initial sellout, that is going to push people over towards eBay to go and buy products as well. And even when it's not selling out, there's always people that can't find it in their local area, which are going to head on over to eBay. So that does make perfect sense. Not to mention, of course, that you've then got money cards like, obviously, the Charizard V Max, the shiny, which people are absolutely going to want. And actually, it is worth bearing in mind that Japan did actually have Charizard V shiny in the set as well. They had the V and the V Max both in that same set. We actually split them up, but they had them in the same one. And they also had the full art Marnie, so there were some absolute money cards in there, which is going to help to push it up the rankings. At number 2, we had Remix Bout, which was Sword and Shield 11A, which is slightly unusual, but essentially this is a set which sold out. And that is essentially what you tend to find here, that when sets sell out, people head on over to eBay to buy them. And it really is as simple as that. It's not that it's a particularly amazing set like Shiny Star V. It is a moderately sought-after set, which then left people wanting, because it sold out, and then they headed on over to eBay to actually go and pick it up. Although I should mention that there was a Charizard in the set. Charizard and Braixen, the tag team, including, of course, the Rainbow Rare, etc., did find its way over into Remix Bout. So there is also going to be an element of that. It was part of what made up Cosmic Eclipse over here. Not all of it, but part of it. And obviously it had all the first partner Pokemon involved, and it was a fairly popular set for that reason. Now, the other Pokemon product that made it into the top 5 was this adorable Pikachu promo. Now, I have shown you this before, but you may have forgotten, so let me remind you. Essentially, if you went and bought yourself some Volt Tackle over in Japan, you could get yourself a promo pack, and that promo pack would get you one of 5 particular cards. Now, it is interesting to note that this Hugging Pikachu V Max, he just wants a hug, hasn't actually been released over here, and we are now getting to that stage, and we might cover this in a video down the line. We are kind of getting to the stage now where it's been a while this has actually been out there for a little while, and there's still no sign of it over here and how it might end up coming over here. So this is one to keep a little bit of an eye on, because as it stands at the moment, this is a completely missing promo that Japan have got, and we frankly don't. Now, specifically, the one which is making waves over on eBay is the Sao Sao promo, and basically its artwork. If we look at the 5 lined up here, you can see why it is this one that people are going a bit crazy for. It's not the most expensive card ever. This is likely to be a volume thing, and it's also worth pointing out, we did talk about the pull rates a little while ago, and let's just say the pull rates for the Vs and V Maxes in this pack were significantly lower. So even though that V Max is worth a pretty penny, there's just not as many out there to really push it up onto the list as this Pikachu, where frankly there are far more of them out there. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Pokemon TCG is crushing everywhere, even eBay Japan. And having a chat with the lovely Primal Lugia, and it turns out that although it actually, and this is trading cards generally, rose from 4th to 2nd in this 3-month period, in the previous period it actually rose from 8th to 4th. So to put it another way, in the space of 6 months, we saw it go from the 8th most popular category to the 2nd. I think it's fair to say that trading cards are still doing pretty gosh darned well. And as someone who loves trading card games and business, this seemed like the kind of thing we absolutely had to have a chat about. But now it's over to you, lovely ladies and gentlemen. Tell me what you think about all of this. Tell me your thoughts, your opinions. Tell me anything, frankly, you want to tell me. Go nuts in the comment section, but be nice, would ya? And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.